Emma Mill Hickson, thank you so much for coming on and bringing a humongous glittered unicorn that's standing behind you, and we're going to get to all of that. You're an international pop artist. Mm-hmm. You grew up in Milford, Connecticut. All right, so let's talk about why you love glitter, because I love it. It's my favorite color. I grew up with Elmer's glue. I grew up with, you know, construction paper and snub-nosed scissors and all of that, always doing something. So you've become a glitter artist. How does that happen?
It's been a wild ride and a fantastic journey, but first I want to just thank you for having me.
Sure.
And for promoting and putting a spotlight on the arts in Connecticut, so that's fantastic. You know, glitter is something that I kind of fell upon it in a way it fell upon me, and it continues to fall. The glitter just makes me happy, and I've had paintings that I've lived with throughout my life that didn't make me happy, and I decided to do something about it for my own walls in my own house. And I've got to say that the Milford Library, back when I was growing up, Milford, Connecticut Library, they had this wonderful program where you could take out a painting and you'd have it for 2 weeks, just like a book, and you'd take it out and then you'd give it back. So that's kind of
So this is a kid you could check out?
You could check out, well, your parent had to.
All right, but it was an actual piece of art.
It was an actual piece of art, and it could have been it could have been some kind of a giclée or a replica in some way, but it was an actual framed, large sometimes piece of art, usually classical works, and I hope that other libraries do the same, but that's when I started thinking about art. It was because of the Milford Library loaning us paintings.
I love that idea.
It's such
if
a
anybody's
good idea.
listening to this, they should do that. They should let people check out, you know,
art.
as you say, art.
Because people don't have art on their walls, and I realized that with I tried to make art that's very positive, very uplifting, and I was on a national television program, and Home by Novogratz, and what happened was people saw this glitter art, and I had hundreds and hundreds of people from really around the world asking how they could have some glitter art in their home, and that so many people have never had a work of art at all. And so I don't know what is on people's walls, but if you really want to put yourself in a fantastic mood, think about what's on your walls in terms of the art. I really think it's such an important, much more important than a couch, really, is what's hanging and how that makes you feel.
Now, you started out life in Milford. You started out also singing and writing music. How did you leap from that to the arts? And obviously it is the arts, but what's the transition? And are you still writing music, and are you still singing?
I am. I'm still writing and singing, and music is my first love. I love the arts, and I feel like they're all very connected, and that the source of the creativity comes from the same place. It's really just different manifestations, and like there are so many artists, Joni Mitchell, different people who, John Cougar Mellencamp. These people are painters, they're poets, they're artists.
It all fits together.
They just do things, and I'm always, my mind just wants to create things all the time. But there's something universal about music that to me trumps it all. But art can be very universal too, especially if it's an accessible form of art, and glitter is very accessible, and that's why I'm attracted to glitter.
Now, you were installing over the holidays at the Lyman Allen Art Museum 24 of these unicorns that we see behind you.
That's right.
There's a ton of glitter in these.
Ton.
Why the unicorn? So tell me this story.
Okay, well, back in 2010, I was recording a record, and I was traveling on the subway on the same line where the businessmen
in New York City.
In New York City, where the businessmen were going to Wall Street, and this was just after some economic downturn. And I thought to myself, as I watched these businessmen on the subway looking miserable, if I'm a contemporary visual artist, how do I reach somebody like that? How do I help somebody like that?
I'm surprised you were thinking that.
I
Just go ahead and be
was
miserable.
No, I was thinking I wanted to, because you know that's what art's supposed to do. It's supposed to lift people or move people. And so right then and there I had an idea to put up a missing unicorn poster. And I designed this thing, and it said, with a beautiful picture of a unicorn, it was a poster, a large poster, large female with friendly disposition, last seen entering Central Park at West 72nd. If seen, please call and leave a message. And so I liked my poster so much that I hired my friends to come along, and some of them, they put up posters all over Manhattan.
Now, did you need a license to do that, or
well,
you could just do it?
Mayor Bloomberg, he's pretty uptight about art like that, and a poster doesn't last very long like it used to in Manhattan, I can assure you. But they lasted long enough for people to Twitter it, people to send these posters.
This was in 2010.
2010, all around the world. And so after the first night, I had over 1,000 phone calls to the Unicorn Hotline, and it was just so odd to me. I was thinking, I took out a Skype phone number, and I was thinking maybe 10 people would call, and I was thinking if I could get those businessmen to just, all I really wanted initially is if I could get 3 businessmen to think about unicorns for 2 seconds, I thought that would help. That's how small my idea, the initial kernel of it was. And then, all of a sudden, within 2 weeks, I had like 10,000 phone calls, and from countries, and I was able to track on the Skype number from countries. We had every state in the United States very quickly, within a week, and I could track, and people were calling, leaving messages, they were downloading their site.
What was it about this mythological creature that was speaking to the entire world, including this policeman? I would listen to these messages, and what I realized is that, first of all, very luckily, that people in the world want imaginative play. They want to play a game. And I didn't realize that people would people are playing, gaming, it's all about gaming these days, online,
true.
right? It's
That's
a billion-dollar industry.
Exactly, but people to play a game like this, where all of a sudden, I don't think people realized it at first, but they were calling in, and then all of a sudden I have, thousands and thousands of phone calls. So they're all of a sudden becoming part of this interactive artwork. And that's really what it has become. So I was able to have a couple of exhibitions where we would have images of what people sent in from all around the world. People would take the unicorn on my poster and somehow Photoshop it or put it into some location, like on the top of the Sydney Opera House, and they would send a message saying, here it is, come check it out. Or people would talk about their hopes and their dreams and their unfulfilled dreams. And I really think that that's what it gets to. It's like, what are you missing in your life? And maybe you should start your own chase.
So you're getting credit for all of this? I mean, it seems to me that just an idea on a subway about a unicorn and trying to help some business guys that didn't get it.
That's right.
That you now are this symbol, and so that leads you to now exhibiting unicorns, which you're going to do over the holidays.
That's right.
For kids.
That's right.
At the Lyman Allen Art Museum.
Precisely.
And you said go there instead of shopping on Black Friday.
That's right. And I just think that with listening to thousands and thousands of phone calls, and I've tried to listen to a lot of them because they're very inspiring, people from Pakistan, people from all around talking about what they've seen or some inspiration. And I realized that wouldn't it be beautiful, since I've been thinking about this unicorn too, because these people are thinking about it, what if the magic is exponential? What if it's not just one unicorn that we're looking for? What if you could imagine a stampede? You hear these stories of the last unicorn, that maybe it's gone, maybe whether or not unicorns exist, we're not really here to discuss that. But I will say that in around 1900, there was an article written from the New York, the Los Angeles Times wrote an article about my project, and what they did research that the nobility of England would go to Africa to hunt the unicorn, and this is what they did, and it was probably it was who knows what it was. It could have been a hartebeest with one horn or some other type of creature. But the fact of the matter is that people throughout history have been interested in this creature.
So tell me about these pictures that you have. You've got, one of New York's finest on a horse holding the poster.
Well, here we are, and luckily, and I will say that the crime rate is so low in Manhattan these days, and it's such a lovely place to live.
Because of the unicorn?
It may have something to do with
right?
it. But there we are, NYPD on horseback, looking for the unicorn in Central Park.
And this is?
And this is, so we put up the posters, and I was in Queens putting up posters at maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was sort of a desolate place, and then all of a sudden this group of people popped up out of the subway, and they came right over to me to see what I was doing, and I was just anxious because I didn't expect to run into a bunch of people, and they looked a little bit mean, and then they saw my poster, and we became friends. And here is this picture of all of these people with huge smiles on their faces, 2 o'clock in the morning in Queens, and
That's
it's just
riot.
it's like I feel like race relations healed because of the poster. It's like that's really what happened.
And then you're getting cloud formations that people seem to think that they see a unicorn. I'm going to hold it up.
Sure,
like this.
and people from all around the world sending in sightings and telling interesting stories about what they've seen and what their hopes are if they do see a unicorn.
So all of this, you do other things besides unicorns, but you're interested in glitter, you're interested in cellophane. There's another, I want to hold this up just because it sparkles so much, and because you are a glitter artist, there's different kinds of glitter that you can use. What's in this? You can actually put this here.
This one is plastic glitter because it's easier to work with. There are some mica glitters and then some diamond dust glitters, but sometimes the powders get very fine, and I find that they're sometimes difficult. But the plastic glitter just shines so much, and part of what really attracts me to these paintings is that I feel like it ought to be a dialogue between the painting and the viewer. And when you walk past a glitter painting, it twinkles at you, and then you can twinkle back.
Does this speak to guys? I mean, it speaks to girls.
Well,
what do you think?
I've done paintings that are much more masculine. I have these circuit board paintings that I make, and they look like cities almost. It's circuit boards, and so it's very detailed and large works and very contemporary. I just really love contemporary art. I love stuff that I haven't seen before and stuff that's very clean but then with an unusual medium.
What drew me to you is, number one, the glitter, and we'll put this down over here. Number two, the fact that you are an artist that believes wholeheartedly in giving back. And when I looked on your website, there are a number of organizations that you, tell me about that.
Well, I've always been interested in just the way that a person can fit into a society and make it better. My grandmother, my family, we've always tried to do that. And I just think that it's very important, especially if you have children, to teach by example, even if you feel like you don't have enough to give. And to really stand by that. And so with the glitter paintings that I make, I always give 10%, and I have an organization called Make a Difference Now, and it's this friend of mine.
Is it .org?
MakeADifferenceNow.org. And this is a woman, Teresa Grant is her name, and she's moved to Africa to rescue children, AIDS children, orphans off the street, and she has different places, and we were lucky enough in 2010 to go over, myself, my husband, and 2 children. We went over, and we worked with these orphans, and it was just, when you see what you can do, really a small amount of, even just to give love, I mean, that's what these people need. And it was just so authentic and so fantastic, and it just makes me really want to show by example that you can really make a difference in your own community. It doesn't have to be Africa, it can be next door. Even if you're helping one person, there's this Buddhist philosophy that if every person helps another person, then all of us won't be in need. There won't be anyone left behind.
Can you even imagine?
Well, I think it's just, and part of what's so exciting about the glitter and the unicorns is, like, the unicorns to me, they represent infinite possibility. That the things that are possible in the world are really, they're somewhat beyond our comprehension. I mean, think about all of a sudden we've gone to the moon. I mean, think about all the people up until that point who said that was impossible. And the word impossible, I think, is a very dangerous word in the English language.
Imparting what you have learned as an artist and working in glitter, where's this going to go, do you think?
Well, I mean
you're showing internationally.
I am. I've had shows in Tokyo and other places around in Canada and all over the United States. And what I'm hoping for the Unicorn Stampede at the Lyman Allen Museum of Art, which opens on the 29th of November, what I'm hoping is that show can travel the world as in a way that the Missing Unicorn posters have gone all over the world and brought joy to people. And I think there's a chance also that I'm in talks with certain people in Manhattan. There's the Broadway Mall Association, and they have this incredible space of Broadway, which is from 175th Street all the way down to Columbus Circle. And we're talking back and forth about having a unicorn stampede, 3-dimensional sculptures galloping down and unifying all of those disparate communities, and then cantering around the circle. And I just think that would really bring joy to people.
So a couple of business guys led you to unicorns to maybe change the world in ways you never
That's exactly what happened, and who knows how. It's amazing if you can just open your mind up and get out of the way, the things that can happen. And that's what the glitter, I have to say that every morning when I wake up and work on the glitter, it puts me in a great mood, because I know it's going to bring it's going to help somebody think larger than they're thinking, or fulfill a dream that has gone unfulfilled up until now, or just give them a little nudge. I mean, if it does that, then that's enough for me.
Kim Emile Hickson, it's a joy to meet you. Good luck with the unicorns, and we'll be watching. And from one glitter girl to another, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Fun.